Hey, so this is Hank. I've been rewatching Stranger Things because I've been getting prepped for Stranger Things Volume 2, Season 2. Fucking spoiler alert for fucking Stranger Things Season 1. I'm gonna be talking about that shit. I'm gonna be talking about some other shit too. If you hear me bring up a fucking franchise, then I might fucking spoil it. So fucking watch your asses. You don't want to get fucking spoiled for some dumb shit. I really like Stranger Things. I was a big fan of it. If you're a fucking nerd, I'm sure you know that there's a shit ton of weird little references all the way through Stranger Things. Stranger Things is full of references to pop culture stuff, fucking sci-fi movies and horror movies and shit like that. And that's not what I'm going to be talking about. The shit that I was very interested that Stranger Things referenced was I want to say this is a real world conspiracy, but there's fucking layers to this. See, once upon a time, Stranger Things, when it was sold to Netflix, it was called Montauk. Montauk is a reference to the Montauk Project. The Montauk Project is this is a series of fiction novels that were put out about a government conspiracy. But after the books came out, a bunch of dudes came forward and started claiming that the book was non-fiction and that they were real things that happened to them. And basically this is like a real world version. If you've seen Stranger Things, and of course you have, if you're fucking listening to this, why wouldn't you have? Stranger Things, it's basically saying, what if Stranger Things was non-fiction? And was much larger than what you see in Stranger Things. It wasn't just experiments on one little telepathic child. It was a whole bunch. It was lots and lots of kids. The Montauk Project is it sort of splinters out of MK Ultra, which is MK Ultra is as real as a conspiracy theory can be. Like the President Bill Clinton came out and said, sorry about Project MK Ultra. The government, the CIA, was doing illegal mind control experiments on American, U.S. and Canadian citizens. That's some fucked up shit that really happened. It's so fucking vast and serpentine, and it connects up with the fucking Nazis and shit. It's difficult to fucking get into. And all that fucking connects back up to the Montauk Project, which connects back up to Stranger Things. One of the things in the Montauk Project is as you see in Stranger Things, there's a subterranean base. And in the Montauk Project, there's there's a map you see at one point in the book where there's 9 levels to the subterranean base. And it's like after level 5, I think it's like the first 5 levels are human, and the bottom 3 or 4 levels are run by the aliens. And level 7, there's Nightmare Hall. That's you can look it up online. There's a specific map of the Montauk base, and level 7 is Nightmare Hall, and that's where humans and aliens, and when I'm saying aliens, I hate to go off on a fucking tangent here, but when I say aliens, I'm not just talking about like beep boop boop, we are from fucking planet Mars Ballon. We're talking about ultra-terrestrials, which are beings that move extra-dimensionally. Once again, like that's a tangent that I don't want to get drawn down too far here, but Nightmare Hall in the Montauk base is where genetic experimentation was done on captured humans using alien technology. We're talking about like genetic experimentation. We're talking about grafting different limbs and organs onto and into human bodies. We're talking about fucked up nightmares being perpetrated against human beings being turned into nightmares. Not just mind control shit, but like physical body control stuff. Now, I first heard of Nightmare Hall when I was reading Grant Morrison's series The Invisibles, which came out back around the turn of the last century. Isn't that fun to say? Turn of the last century. So like I think The Invisibles started up around like 1995, 1996, and kept going until a little ways into the year 2000. It was written by Grant Morrison, and it was drawn by a whole bunch of different people. Every storyline and sometimes every issue was drawn by different artists. So it was an interesting project, sort of similar in that regards to Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which also had a lot of different artists for each storyline. But beyond that, The Invisibles is a weird, fucked up series. It's basically the comic The Invisibles is about a counterculture terrorist organization of people called the Invisibles, and they are small activist cells of individuals who are attempting to use violence and magic and zen and love and drugs to stave off an invasion of our world by another dimension. Basically, in the Invisibles, there are different dimensions, different universes, and one of them is a broken, flawed, fucked up universe. It's, in many regards, it's referred to as hell. It is where suffering always wins. It is where hate always wins. And it is attempting to invade our universe, and it's doing so by infecting key figures in our culture. I'm talking about political figures, religious figures, cultural figures, people in industry as well. So, like, you know, your higher ups, your Illuminati type figures. That's what we're talking about. And the Invisibles are low level activists who are attempting to fight against that shit. They use guns, they use time travel, they use, like I say, they use drugs and love. One of the reoccurring themes throughout the Invisibles and throughout Grant Morrison's work is the attempt to triumph over your opponent by turning your opponent into you. There's a little bit of fascism in there, and there's a little bit of a weird, like, insect brain sort of communism. Like, you infect this thing, and then you become it, and you sort of spread your consciousness around. That shows up all over Grant Morrison's work. He's got there's a character in his X-Men run, that a villain who literally does exactly that to attempt to take over and fight against the mutant race. So that was the first place. In The Invisibles, during one of the storylines, the characters invade a secret government base because they have heard that there is a secret cure for AIDS being held in this government base, as well as some Invisibles agents who need to be rescued. So the Invisibles invade this secret underground government base known as the Dulce base. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled D-U-L-C-E, I believe. I'll put it up on the fucking screen and shit. Duluce, I feel like some people call it. I've always called it Dulce. I honestly, I could probably fucking find out, but here I sit just recording dumb shit out of my dumb voice. So fucking whatever. So the Invisibles, now the Dulce base, this is another one. This is like the Montauk Project. This is a thing that exists outside of this comic book that I'm talking about. It exists outside of this story. There are people in the world who believe that the Dulce base is a real thing and that real experimentation goes on there. Real illegal government projects having to do with mind control and often having to do with extraterrestrials, which again I consider a sort of last century term, and I prefer to use the term ultra-terrestrials and imply that we were talking about like 6 or 7 dimensional entities, in contrast to human beings being 4-dimensional entities because we have length, depth, width, and we exist in time. That's once again, all this shit just fucking sidelines you. You wanna talk about string theory for a while? Let's fucking talk about string theory for a while. That's some fun shit. Anyways, when the Invisibles invade the secret government base, the Dulce base, in the comic book of the Invisibles, you get to level 7 and you find Nightmare Hall. Nightmare Hall, this is... this storyline of The Invisibles is drawn by Phil Jimenez, who I think just is maybe the best artist who worked on The Invisibles in terms of really capturing the characters. Fucking brilliant stuff. Morrison was out of his mind, traveling the world and doing a lot of drugs, sending in pages of script at a time while this was going on. It was a different time, kids, a different time to be alive. Anyway, so in The Invisibles, there you have the Dulce base, and there you have Nightmare Hall and illegal genetic experimentation, references to remote viewing, again, very similar traits as you see showing up in the powers that Eleven has in Stranger Things. Now, of course, there's references to X-Men and other shit like that in Stranger Things. There are not references to the Invisibles, and there can't be references to the Invisibles because Stranger Things precedes the Invisibles by about 15 years. By its own continuity, of course, it takes place in the modern age. So, if I had to bet $1, I would be very confident that the Duffer Brothers, the men behind the creation, the individuals behind the creation of Stranger Things, have read the Invisibles. I would be shocked to find out that they had not read the Invisibles. They seem like fucking very clever, nerdy geek guys. And if you're a person who knows your shit about comic books and weird conspiracy stuff over the past 15 years, you have to have heard of the Invisibles. It wasn't as big a success as it should have been, and it's not a perfect piece of art, but it's really fucking solid. I don't want to turn this into a review of the Invisibles, but I will turn it into a pitch telling you that you should fucking read the Invisibles. It's if you enjoyed Stranger Things, it's sort of like if the X-Files were about hipsters who did acid all the time. So see the last 5 years of my life. Except I don't get anything done. So, what does all this mean? What does it all fucking do? Fucking very little, you know. I'm just drawing connections. I'm seeing points. I'm seeing things that are similar. I start with Stranger Things. Stranger Things was originally called Montauk after the Montauk Project. The Montauk Project was about a subterranean government base where there was legal experimentation going on citizens without their permission. And on level 7 was Nightmare Hall. There was a Nightmare Hall on level 7 in the government base of Dulce in the Invisibles, the comic book series. That's it. I'm drawing correlations. I'm drawing connections. I don't know if everybody knows all this shit. I think it's fun shit to know. So that's another, you know, you throw that shit out there and you see who wants to pick it up and who wants to run around with it. Who wants to fucking pick it up and have some fun, kids. Fucking run around, rub it in your eyes. Fucking take the residue and rub it into your gums. Don't let it go to waste, kids. Fucking that's how this is professional media journalism going on right here. This is definitely not somebody just fucking smoking weed and drinking whiskey and talking to you about a comic book he used to read. That is not what this is. This is the fucking... Oh boy. This is the fucking Uncle Whatever show. No, it's not. I just got a bunch of this shit on my mind. I'm watching Stranger Things again, and I've been listening to all this fucking conspiracy shit of different people breaking down what the Montauk Project was. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Invisibles today. Grant Morrison is a pretty well-known comic book author, but he kind of had his heyday before the internet fully took off, so he's not quite as well established as he could be otherwise. But I think with the success of projects like Stranger Things, I feel like more people should be getting interested into shit like the Invisibles and into, I don't know, just seeing what it all fucking means, seeing correlations between these things. Like, I'm not saying that one is a lead up into the other, but it's just you can see connections. You can see like these things come from similar pools of thought. Anyways, I'm definitely fucking rambling now, fucking rambling about nothing good and useful for you. This is not part of a show, or this is not fucking anything. I just fucking wanted to rant about fucking Stranger Things and comic books for a little while. So that's me. I'm Hank. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, if I come up with any more of this, I'll fucking do a follow-up and shit. Won't that be fun? Oh boy. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.